Once again, the team gathers around Paul Amstel, but tonight he has no more missions to offer and no advice to give. His body lies motionless on the hardwood floor, cooling in the night air. The ruin of his face has been hidden under a burlap tarp. For several minutes, nobody speaks. Finally, Dietrich steps forward. I think we should say something about Paul. There's another moment of silence. Iga speaks up. I'll go. Iga brings herself to attention, stares straight ahead. Paul Amstel was an important member of this team, and he supported us well. He said that he was going to do... He said what he was going to do, and he did it. That's rare, and that's worthy of respect. She looks down at the body. There's a long pause before she speaks again. Thank you, Paul, for everything. Another pause. Her voice softens. I was out of position when they came for you. I couldn't save you. I'm sorry. Another shift, uncomfortably not knowing what to say. Glory breaks the awkward moment. Her voice a frosty monotone. I appreciate what Amstel did for us. It's another lost one that the team can't afford. Glory's eyes sweep across the group, then land on Amstel's body, her expression impossible to read. After a moment, she turns her head to look at you. It's hard, I know, but this is why we're here. This is why we need to keep together, supporting each other. No one's going to look out for us but us. Losing people is hard, no denying it. Paul was a good one, and he will be missed. Dietrich nods in agreement and crosses himself. Yeah, he was. Goodbye, Paul. Gingerly, Blitz steps forward. His hair is mused, and there's a fresh bullet hole in his jacket. He smells like smoke and blood and stale sweat, and his hands tremble as he takes them out of his pockets. Well, I didn't know Paul as well as the rest of you, but he seemed like a good guy. He shuffles on his feet. I didn't want to see this happen at any rate. You okay, Blitz? You look like you and Mallet saw some action back there. Yeah. His eyes remain fixed on Amstel's body. I live. As if in turn, Dante lowers his head sadly, lets out a heavy sigh and closes his eyes. We'll miss you. Don't worry about the body, I know what to do. Be respectful, but be quick. After all, it is only a shell. Paul is with Monica now. We're all going to be with Monica soon if we don't do something. The Firewings came after us once. She'll do it again. This is about more than just us. Everyone is in danger, the whole F state. Aren't you being a little dramatic? I don't care. I don't think that. He is Iga Love. I really don't. Come on, everyone, let's get a look at that optical chip. I want to see what we're dealing with. Cool blue tones of the work screen main menu fill the screen. A blinking message appears. Notice you have one message. Check the inbox. You have one unread message. Read the contents of Alice's. You open the optical slot into the computer's waiting chip jack. On the screen, Alice's office blooms into view. Half a second later, a real-time simulation of Alice appears, seated behind her mahogany desk. Something about it reminds you of a figure from a wax museum, lifelike but dead inside. It greets you with a fat smile, and Alice's joyless smile. Customer name Richard. His voice is hollow and synthetic, an automaton masquerading as a living woman. One who you've never even met in the flesh. Account number 1012579. Greetings, valued customer. I am an offline simulacrant of the Alice persona. I have been introduced on this chip to answer any questions that you might have about your information purchase. Nifty piece of tech. Not now, Blitz. If you are ready to proceed, I will present Alice's findings. You may interrupt this presentation at any point saying, Alice, I have a question. We're ready, let's get the show on the road. Very well. Commencing presentation. The simulacant goes rigid for a moment, then seems to relax. When it speaks, it sounds more natural, as though the real Alice is speaking through it. Alright, Richard, I've got good news for you, and I've got bad news. Let's start with the good news. I found Von Clare, and he is alive, thank God. The trail to your missing doctor was a long and slippery one. The fee that you paid me barely covered my costs for the job. I sent a team into the SOC on a fact-finding mission. I bribed government officials. I greased the palms of wage slaves at megacorps all across Europe. Each step I took eliminated possibilities, drew me a little closer, and finally I found the place where Von Clare is being held. Simulacant makes a sweeping gesture with his right hand, and image switchblades onto the screen. A grainy overhead photograph animated. It's going to take me a while with a map. There is where you will find him. He's been held captive at a remote estate called the Harfield Manor. You've got to be kidding me. He was there the whole time. Glory says nothing. She just studies the photograph and nods. Okay, nobody tell me. I get it. There is something else that I missed. Alice, I have a question. Something hitches again, and you can feel the life drain out of her. It looks up at you robotically. You have a question, alright, please make your inquiry now. What else did you turn about Harfield Manor? Seismological data and thermal imaging confirm the existence of a large hollow chamber under the estate. It is my assumption that Dr. Von Clare is being held somewhere within the substructure. If Firewing kept Von Clare trapped there for almost 20 years, she's got to have a reason for it. It takes an effort and resources to lock a man away for that amount of time. So what's her endgame and all of this? Why not just kill him and be done with it? Malice, revenge, who knows? Remember, this was a man who shot her down. He sent her crashing into a radioactive wasteland. If somebody did that to me, I'd want to hurt them too and make it last. I think it goes deeper than that. According to Winter's DVD, Von Clare designed the experimental weapon that shot her down, and the weapon split her body from her essence. Glory glances at her own, down at her own steel and chrome arms and suppresses a shudder. If I had to guess, I'd say that she's trying to make him fix whatever he did to her. That's what makes sense to me. There's a moment's silence as the group processes Glory's suggestion. Before anyone can speak, the simulant cuts back in. Do you have another question? Von Clare has been held on sale. What evidence do you have to support this? One of my assets at Transistor Neonet provided me with a video feed dated 23/10/10. The feed was taken by corporate surveillance drone playback in currency. The screen is filled with a grainy black and white video feed. You recognise the Harfield Manor photograph from above. Camera pushes in and the image sharpens through a barred ground level window. You can see the shape of a stooped, emaciated figure. His body clearly shows signs of neglect. The figure is unmistakable. It's Von Clare, 20 years older and worse for wear. His skin hangs loose on his bones and his cheeks are hollow. There's a distinctly grey pallor to his skin. That's Von Clare, alright. What's left of him anyway. It doesn't look like they've been feeding him much. He shakes his head, poor bastard. Another figure steps into frame behind Von Clare, an orc. He turns his head slightly, and the skin grafts catch the light. Von Clare slowly turns the face Aldrin, and the video feed cuts out. Stares at you impassively. Do you have any more questions? No more questions. Let's get to the bad news. Very well. Feel free to interrupt me again with any future inquiries. Human pauses. A brief tremor washes over her again. Her eyes flutter, and you can hear the sound of the computer working to process more of the chip's data. Iger turns to address the team. If Von Clare's at Harfield Manor, we've got problems. The last time you broke into that place, they took Monica out. It was a miracle that any of us got out alive. Yeah, but now we know what's down there. This time we can prepare for it. We can handle this. Iger shakes her head. No, it'll be even worse on this time. First time we went in, we had the element of surprise on our side, but now they'll be expecting us. They're hunting us, remember? Security team is going to be waiting for us. Diedrich and that Aldrin bastard is going to be waiting for us. And even if we make it past them, we're going to have to deal with the dragon in the basement. What else can we do? Cut and run. The last time I checked, that wasn't an option either. Even if there were. I wouldn't take it. I'm not running from this. Not even not after what they did here. None of us are. Glory, but Iger's right. We can't just charge in there again. Not without some kind of edge. Simon jerks back and resumes speaking, bristly unaware of the conversation, and cuts it off. And now Richard on to the bad news. You now know where Von Clare is, but rescuing him will not be possible. Alice, I have a question. Why the hell not? In the course of my investigation, I encountered something terrifying in the Matrix. It was fast, cunning, and very definitely intelligent. I'm convinced that I only escaped because it let me go. It could have killed me in a heartbeat if it wanted to. This thing that I met was protecting the Harfield Manor. It's going after anyone who gets close to what's happening there. Alice, what did you see in there? What is going after these people? By the way of explanation, I would like you to read the following documents. Simon makes another sweeping gesture, and the menu slides back onto the screen. This time it is filled with text. What you're looking at is an archived forum discussing from the early days of the Shadowrun BBS. Bliss stares at the text on the screen. It isn't kidding, Chief. This discussion dates back to 2036, and that's ancient history in the decking community. Probably isn't even correct to call these guys deckers. Hackers would be more appropriate term. When you finish reading it over, say Alice, I am done, and we will continue. Read the archive discussion. As you lean in to read the text, slowly begin to scroll up and down from the bottom of the screen. You all hear about the SK team that got crisps a few hours ago. A whole lab's worth of research is all burned and broken beyond recognition. Ugly stuff. Clockwork. At this point, who hasn't? Big Pharma. Power spike got them right through their data jacks like a bolt of lightning to the brain. A 1 in a million accident. That's what they're saying? And you believe that? Got a more plausible explanation? Yeah, actually it was a cleanup operation. Colour me intrigued. What were they cleaning up? A secret project the Lothier didn't want anyone to do with. You might heard rumours about it. The project name was Apex. And you've lost me. Apex. Clockwork. Seriously, that old line of Drek. I'm telling you, Jokers, Apex is real, or at least it was, until the Whizworm pulled the plug. Come on, Clockwork. We're still decades away from seeing a fully functional AI. You know that. Those Apex stories that have been floating around, they're just some conspiracy nuts' wet dream. Fine, keep your head in the sand. Some of us know the truth when we read it. Okay, Clock, I'll humour you, but riddle me this. If Lothier had an armed and operational AI at his claws, why kill it? You remember what happened to most of Echo Mirage? Clockwork. The crash virus killed him, fried their brains, but I don't see what that's got to do with anything. With the commercial release of the CDT-1000, some systems firms are working on counter-intrusion software that could do the same thing. Black Ice. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Whoa, scary stuff, man. Well, the goal of the Apex project was even scarier. Ice waits for you to come to it. Apex wouldn't be bound by those restrictions. It could go out and hunt, hit its targets when they least expect it. That's why they call it Apex. It was designed to be an apex predator of the digital world, and so rather than using it to his advantage, Lothier decided to kill it in its cradle. The Whizworm's no fool. Some things are too dangerous to play around with. How would you put that genie back in the bottle if it ever slipped out of its control? Answer, you couldn't. And then it would take over the world. Okay, this threat has officially gone off the rails. I'm closing it down for the good of mankind. The scroll text comes to a stop. Alice, I'm done. Simulator jerks back to life, settles into a natural pose. These are no official records in the Cybercoop database to support the existence of the Apex project. but the thing that I encountered was Apex. Of course, of that I am certain. Just as I am certain that Apex was responsible for the deaths of Monica Schaefer, Green Winters, Clockwork, Pyridine, and a score of other Deckers over the last 16 years. Blurs raises his hand. Hold up, Alice. I have a question. I thought they said that Lofia killed Apex. They speculated as much, yes. They were wrong on that count. I do believe that Seda de Coupe was developing Apex as a tool of Matrix warfare. I'm also convinced that the IT personnel who were killed were the Apex development team, but I don't think that Lofia was responsible for their deaths. Apex killed them. That would be my guess, yes. In the turmoil surrounding Lofia's buyout of Seda Corp, a number of projects went missing. I believe Apex was appropriated by a member of Firewing's organisation. At this point, it was then unleashed on its own development team to silence them. Since then, it's provided information control for the Firewing. A pet AI would explain how Firewing has managed to maintain her conspiracy and avoid detection for the past 2 decades. Anytime anyone is close, the AI takes them out and scrubs the records clean. So there you have your bad news. Richard Von Clear is being held at Harfield Manor, but knowing that does you no good because you can't approach the place. I doubt you could open the door without Apex frying you. We did last time. They were trying to protect their secret, like Aldian said. If we hadn't gone down into the basement, they'd have let us go. Apex didn't react to us until Monica attempted to force the door at the basement. Now the cat's out of the bag, they have no reason not to pull out the big guns on site. You're right, we can't go back while Apex is in place. The room falls silent. Finally Edgar turns to you. What's the play, Richard? We can't turn back now. If Apex stands between us and Von Clear, then we need to find a way to kill Apex. Fucking A, boss, I'm in. Did you hear that, Alice? Do you have any suggestions? Simulant hitches back and pauses. The AI has a kill switch, but Alice deemed any additional contact with the Apex to be an unjustifiable risk. Attempting to reach the kill switch would be inadvisable. If Alice was scared of this thing, maybe we should give it a wide berth. Save me on the warnings. I'm going to kill this thing. I owe that much to Monica. You and me both, boss. Alice, tell us about Apex kill switch. Simulant stares at you with dead eyes. Thanks to my close encounter with the AI, I was able to run a trace on it. Through this trace, I discovered a physical address of the backdoor access point for Apex's programming. An old Seda Corp research lab long since abandoned and fallen into despair. The facility is now hotly contested gang territory. I have also determined that the kill switch for the AI exists somewhere in the basement of that facility. I will provide you with a physical address. I don't like the smell of this, Chief. It said that Apex let Alice escape. He turns to address Alice. Why would the Matrix Warfare AI allow you to run a trace on it? I'm afraid that answer to that question falls outside the scope of my written parameters. We've now reached the end of the presentation. I have been encoded with a final message from Alice to Richard, playback commencing. Simulant eyes goes wide and it floods back into you and stares directly at you. Richard, if you don't listen to me before, listen to me now. Drop this, stop going after Von Clear, get out of Berlin and stay out of the Matrix. I'm telling you this for your own good. That is all I have to say. I'm following my own advice. I'm out. Don't try to contact me again. Simu reverts to its idle state, slumping like a puppet. With its strings cut, its eyes glaze over and its face goes slack, then the screen cuts to black. So the Dragon has a killer AI in charge of security. I can't say I'm surprised, but then nothing surprises me anymore. We know what killed Monica, we have a name for it, and we know how to kill it. That's good enough for me. We know what we have to do. We can either stand around talking about it or we can go and do it. Agreed, we can shut down the Apex and we re-enter the estate, rescue Von Clear. He's the key to this whole thing. Sounds like a plan, boss. I still say this is crazy talk, Chief. Taking on an AI isn't just a bad idea, it's suicide, so my vote is to cut and run. Blitz surveys the rest of the team, sees determination in their face, finally sighs. But if you're really doing this, you want the best decker you can find along for the ride, and I guess that nominates me. Woo! Alice said that the kill switch is located in some old SK facility. Assuming that the site was shut down some time ago, after the Apex project disappeared, it could have stood empty for years, maybe decades. She also said that the building was in gang territory now. I wonder if it'll be anything like Daz Cooler House was. God, I hope not. Only one way to find out. Let's get prepared. This thing isn't going to kill itself. Blitz glances at you. The worry is painted all over his face. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you'd better bring me along. You try going up against an AI without a Nova Hot Decker at your side, and you're probably going to regret it. Iga begins her weapons check. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Whatever there is, whatever's there, we will deal with it. First, we need to find a way into the basement, and then we can kill it. Kill the AI that killed Monica. Damn right. Team breaks to begin gearing up. As she slides the shell into a shotgun, Iga catches your eye. You do good out there defending our home, because I can't say it. You had our backs the entire way. Made good decisions. In this job, we work together or we die alone. Iga scowls at the floor and nods. True, you're right again. Anyway, we should get back to it. We've got an AI to take out after all. Richard, do me a favour and keep your eye on this one. We're walking into the unknown. Makes me a little uneasy. Don't worry, Iga, I've got your back. She smiles, claps you on the shoulder. I know you do, and I've got yours. You've more than earned it. You too, Iga. Without another word, the troll slides the shotgun into the sheath on her back and turns to continue the pre-mission checklist. Check your inbox for a new message. You have one unread message. Read your old messages. Access the Shadowrun BBS. Post pay data for sale. Haven't got any. Claim pay data. Donor list. 540. That's cool. Go back. So why can't I access this message? Speak to Dante. So Richard, Dante was very helpful out there, but I'm a bit concerned about this. The ability to petrify some people. Fire breathing is a pretty cool trick, don't you think? It's under control, if you say so. He's not a normal dog, not by a long shot. Is he possessed? I assume you've checked his aura and discovered he's a part hellhound. Monica trained him for months to be combat ready. We had a hellhound in this house, and Monica didn't tell us for months. Richard has him under control. Dante performed well in the field, followed commands flawlessly. I have no concerns. Welcome to the team, Dante. Speak to Glory. We've got a job to prepare for. I don't have time to catch up in the moment. That's fine. Any updates on Alexander? No, he's fine. I need to go out, check on getting some new gear, I think. We've got loads of cash. And then we've got to do everyone's. The elf behind the counter says nothing. She stands in silence, staring at you. No cryptomephist. Not after what just happened here. Not today. Today I wish to offer you a gift, something special. She leans in forwards. Since your initial meeting, she opens her eyes wide. Her voice goes deadly silent. I want you to look at me, not with those crude orbs of meat in your skull. I want you to use your true vision. You know, the kind that I mean. Just this once, I will cast aside the veil. Just this once, I will let you see who I really am. Use astral protection. Your third eye flits open, casting the world into a shimmering sea of greyness. Cautiously you peer at her aura. Chaos. You are staring into the mouth of chaos, a howling vortex of golden light and green water, with a gnawing, gaping maw of pure nothingness at its centre. As you stare into the void, you can feel it staring back. Its vision reaches into you, and through you, and then at all at once it swallows you. In the stillness at the centre of the yawning void, time seems to slow. Gradually you find some semblance of peace. There is a beauty here, the interplay of green and gold swirling around you. Breathtaking, intoxicating, you feel your thoughts become sluggish. Feels like you're being drugged. Slowly, though the swirling water, you begin to catch sight of something, a huge alien shape lined with ribbon-like tendrils of golden light. You can feel it closing in on you, a looming presence of suffocating enormity. Slowly halting, it reaches towards you. Your arms and legs feel heavy and useless. It feels like you're swimming in tree sap. You are helpless. What's left of your sense of self rebels and unconsciousness slams into you like a freight train. Suddenly, mercifully, everything goes black. When you struggle to your way back to consciousness, you find yourself lying in a heap on the ground. Absinthe offers a hand to help you to your feet. What the hell are you? I'm nothing of consequence, an observer of human nature, nothing more. We come from very different places, Richard, but we both call this place our home, and I hope that you will consider me a friend. It's not an answer. Tell me what you are. Something beyond your understanding. A child of the astral plane, wild and free, unfettered by the bonds of servitude that chain so many of my kind. In truth, what I am should not concern you so much as what I know. Okay, I bite. What do you know? Truths hidden from mortal eyes. In my time as an observer of this world, I have witnessed a great many things, wonders and terrors beyond measure. The birth and death of nations, the rise and fall of gods. I've seen the ebb and flow of magic from the fourth world to the fifth to the sixth. I have watched in awe as the tides carry wonder and miracles into the world of men. And I have mourned as they were swept back out again. I have borne witness as the cycle begins and ends and begins itself anew. I have seen what comes at the end of the fourth world thousands of years ago. That ancient era crumbled into the sea. I saw the things that crawled into the carcass of a once great nation, vile, terrible things. Even now I can feel them. They drift on the tides of mana, hungrily awaiting the end of the sixth world and the death of all that you know. I have seen what they will do when this world has run its course, human. They will rip the guts from your dying civilization and they will feast upon your screams. Who are they? Things born of nightmares, horrors, the dark spaces between the metaplanes crawl with them. She looks into your eyes and you can feel your head swimming. Your kind fears what it can see, corporations, dragons, violence, poverty, and the random cruelty of fate. If you could perceive reality the way that I do, you would know that there are much greater things to fear. If the world were an ocean, the hazards that you know might be sharks, dangerous creatures to be sure and worthy of respect, but below them, in the silent deep, Leviathans circle. She turns away. Go now, Richard. Talk to Algernon. After all has happened, I'm sure he'll be glad to see you, but remember what I've told you. I will. Salutations, youngster. I believe that the Kiribati still stands thanks to you. So I've heard one day perhaps I will learn the language. For now, thank you, you must suffice. I have questions for you if you don't mind. What can you tell me about Dante? He's not a normal dog. Indeed not. Dante is part hellhound, bred to be an elite guard dog. I assume he manifests some of his awakened abilities. How did you know he was a hellhound? Monica brought him to me some time ago. He was a special order. She thought it would be he could guard her Amstel while she was away on business. Should I be worried about him? I would keep him fed if I were you. I understand he likes soy jerky, but from what I've heard, he has bonded to you. Unless you mistreat him, you have nothing to worry about. Can I see what you're selling? Definitely having them. We'll definitely take Mana Bolt, the next Mana Bolt, and then we will look at what spells we wish to take. Mana Bolt 3, Mana Bolt 4, Lightning Bolt 3, Aim, Armor. So I've got Heal 1, Heal Wound 1, Heal 1. I already own Heal Wound 2, don't I? I think that's all we need. Let's confirm that. Let's clear everything. So you want Power Bolt 4 on. You want to go Mana Bolt 4, Mana Ball 3, Lightning Bolt 3, Aim 3, Armor 3. I want to take a couple of double med packs, really. I want to see, does he have... Did I see... I didn't think I saw, like, Heal Wound 3 in there. No, there definitely isn't Heal Wound 3, is there? Okay, so let's sell off stuff we don't require, like, we don't need that shotgun because I'm never going to use it. We don't need Power Bolt 3 anymore, Lightning Bolt 2, Mana Bolt 2, we want Heal Wound. Was that Aim 3? No, it was Armor 3, so that needs to stay with me. Aim 2 needs to go, and Jazz needs to go. So we'll sell all that, and we want to go onto the equipment page, get rid of Armor 2 as well.